Phiến xin vui mừng gặp lại quý vị trong chương trình Đồng tiền thông minh trên kênh truyền hình FBNC. Chúng ta sẽ quay trở lại cuộc trò chuyện cùng ông Godfrey Swain, là giám đốc khối ngân hàng bán lẻ ngân hàng VIB. Hello, welcome back again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice to be back.
So, as an expert in the field again, what do you think the most concerns of Vietnamese when they go to bank for getting a credit?
Okay. I think Vietnamese people, like banking customers all over the world, want three basic things from a bank. As I said earlier, they want value. That means they want reasonable rates. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. They want transparency. They want to be able to understand things in a simple manner. They don't want banks to have a lot of long turnaround times for answers on applications. Mm-hmm. They don't want to have a lot of small script. They want to have transparency and simplicity. Uh-huh. They also want good service. They want, and most of all, they want a bank they can trust. Okay. Trust in banking is the most important element. So.
Okay. So do you see the same concerns of consumer everywhere in other countries?
It's pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
Obviously, in many countries these days, most banking consumers will not even walk into a bank branch. They will do everything electronically. Mm-hmm. But it's probably in economies which are slightly a little bit more advanced in terms of people using electronic tools for pretty much everything in daily life. Okay. Again, this is catching on very fast in VIB. So our website is seeing, in VIB, is seeing an increasing number of hits, and I invite the public to log on to VIB website, go to the website, look at the offers on the web, and also on the web there are some really great facilities where I can actually talk live to a VIB personal banker. Just hit a button, and somebody will talk to you on the web. You don't even actually need to go into a branch. But having said that, we have a large branch network, and our people in VIB are really committed. They are committed to the bank, but most important, they are committed to our customers, to doing the right thing by the customers. So I invite the public to visit our VIB branches, visit our website. We also have a great contact center. And through these elements, they can understand what the bank is trying to do.
It appears to me that interest rate is the most concern, the huge concern of the consumer. So do you think that interest rates nowadays are reasonable, in your opinion?
If you compare them with what interest rates were in Vietnam and other countries, which in the past had high inflation, now they are very reasonable. As I said, in 2011 when I came here, interest into Vietnam for the first time, inflation was running at very, very high rates. Sure. Consequently, interest rates were running at very, very high rates.
Very high to that time.
Even I was amazed at how high they were. Again, interest on bank deposits were also very high at the time. So if you had money in a bank, you were doing very, very well. If you were borrowing money, whether you were a business or an individual, obviously you're paying a high price, which is okay if your asset is appreciating at very high rates. Sure. But as the economy settled down over the last few years, we have seen inflation come down significantly, and that is good. When inflation comes down,
at least
that gives people stability, and you don't have such a huge increase in the cost of living every year. As a consequence, again, interest rates have come down. Rates are now what I would say reasonable for economies in the state of development. Obviously, you cannot compare to the Eurozone, where interest rates have come down to a bare minimum. But then again, there's a price to be paid for that. In the Eurozone, there is very little growth. So basically, economies are not growing. The Vietnamese economy is still growing at a very fast pace. So in the first quarter of this year, the Vietnam economy grew at a very fast pace, about one of the fastest we've seen in the last few years. Again, that's very, very positive. It means that the economy is moving. It means that there will be more opportunities for people, particularly if that rate of improvement continues. So in an environment where you have low inflation, reasonable rates of interest, an economy that's starting to pick up, I think it's looking very positive. And again, this is when the general public tends to look at banks more and more and starts to use those bank services more frequently.
Okay, so one of the things that people always complain is the complication of interest calculation. So of course, as a banker and as an expert, things seem to be easy to you should probably be difficult to consumer. Do you think that the interest rate calculation should be like more transparent or more easier for customers to?
Yes, look, I mean, there is no doubt in my mind, and certainly no doubt in VIB, that the public needs to be able to understand how an interest rate is calculated.
Yeah.
It needs to be, as I said earlier, I go back to those basic words: simple, transparent, and value added. And what we have done is we are using as a basis for lending rates the 12-month term deposit rate. This is the rate that we pay a customer who comes to us and deposits money for a 12-month term. That is a published rate. It's monitored by the SBV, and it is easily available to everyone. And it's also one of our biggest deposit tenors, so it's not a rate that you can move around. It gives people stability. Then we simply add a margin to that term deposit rate.
Okay.
In that way, a customer, just by logging on, will always know what their rate is going to be. It gives them stability. It gives them that transparency that they want. There's no doubt there are many complications. Sometimes there are many charges that are not easy to understand.
Sure.
Again, we are trying to eliminate hidden charges. You know, we just want to be able to give the public simplicity. What you see is what you get.
Okay.
And that's what Mega is all about. It's giving public that reassurance, that peace of mind, that when they come to VIB, they will be treated fairly, that they will get the best rates possible on the marketplace, that they will get interest rate calculation that is simple and easy to understand, and a great service.
Okay, so you mentioned charges, which is a headache for every consumer, every lender in bank. And you mentioned a lot of like the favorable interest rate in Mega program. So what is it? So what has VIB done in Mega program in an effort to make things like more transparent?
So what we have done is to give people some reassurance in the first year when they are borrowing. So we have come out with a really quite a low rate of just 6.68% for the first year. But of course, many people would worry about what happens after the first year. So we have made sure that the long-term rate is also actually a very, very reasonable rate. So when customers come out of the first year of lending at 6.68, which, as everyone knows, is a very, very low rate, you know, the rate doesn't double, doesn't go like haywire.
Sure.
It goes into a normal interest rate, which is also very, very competitive. So the long-term rate after the first year is very simple. It's simply taking the 12-month term deposit rate with an added margin of 3.99%. It gives simplicity. There is also a second option where customers can have a flat rate. So there's no need actually have a low rate in the first year and a slightly higher rate later on. Customers can also opt. So they're very simple.
Okay, thank you. The last question. How do you see, how do you tell about the development of retail banking in Vietnam in the next few years?
Well, what I can say is that I've been in Vietnam 4 years. And my first job here was as an international employee here. When the time came for me to leave Vietnam to return back to Europe, to my home country, I actually decided I wanted to remain here.
Okay.
And I wanted to move into a local bank because I wanted to do something a bit different. I wanted to come into one of the local banks, which I believe, as I said earlier, is really leading the way in terms of, you know, these values that we want to give to customers, the corporate governance, the simplicity, the transparency, the international standards, and play a little part in helping the development of the retail bank and give public what they need.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing
it's
today.
My great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I wish you all the best in your career here in your passionate sector here in Vietnam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vâng, kính thưa quý vị, những chia sẻ vừa rồi cũng đã khép lại chương trình Đồng tiền thông minh của chúng tôi ngày hôm nay. Quý vị có thể xem lại chương trình thông qua trang web fbnc.vn hoặc facebook.com/đồng tiền thông minh. Đến đây thì Phi Yến xin được kính chào và hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong những chương trình tiếp theo.